Now, we all know the king of custom bikes are Harley-Davidson, including all the bike manufacturers out there who've watched the giant American corporation sell millions of hogs over the last 100 years. Now, many of them have tried to jump on the custom bike bandwagon, especially the Japanese guys. But the question is, have they succeeded to be the new kings of the road? The Suzuki VL 1500 Intruder is the daddy of Suzuki's custom bikes. Its younger brother, the 1400, isn't far behind. But this bike is the baby of the family. It's the VL 400 Intruder. It wasn't meant for UK shores, but somehow slipped through the net. This V-twin 400 looks like a monster of a bike, especially when you look down onto that wide, flat, teardrop-shaped tank. But gets her rolling and she feels surprisingly light. The suspension is soft and I couldn't feel any vibration through the seat and only a little bit through the handlebars. I wasn't particularly overexcited about the thought of riding this machine, but it was more fun than I expected. Its low centre of gravity makes the heavy bike easy enough to handle for a cruiser, and the low, squashy seat reminded me of my leather sofa in the lounge. Now, when you sit on the bike, your feet are very far forward and your body's in an overall reclining kind of position. Now, I noticed quite a foot stretch to the gear lever, and when I was knocking it into first, it was rather clunky, although the rest of the gears felt a little smoother. Now, overall, this is a lazy kind of machine, but it's laid back. That's what it's supposed to be like. But now it's time to move on to the bike file scores on the doors and see how the bike really measures up. As for performance, the bike earns itself 6 out of 10. It isn't really about performance. It's the leather jacket with the tassels. It's the feeling of being an easy rider. Now let's move on to comfort. This is where the bike really scores. The huge saddle is more than comfy and the low seat makes the bike rideable for almost any size and shape. But that position is pure cruiser, but it does earn itself 7 out of 10. And as for the build, well, it's average. It isn't built like a tank such as the Harley-Davidsons. But there are some lovely touches like the tank-mounted clocks, the twin chrome exhaust and heated grips, which worked a treat in this cold weather. And for that, the bike earns itself 6 out of 10. Well, as for value for money, the bike scores 7. You're looking at around $3,700 for a 2-year-old model like this one, and it makes it slightly cheaper than its competitors, say Yamaha's Dragstar 650 and Kawasaki's VN800. They are the main rivals. In the street cred department, the bike scores 8. But only if it's cruising down the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, California. These bikes are too big for UK roads and should only really be ridden in the US of A.